What if ancient demon Lord Rimuru? 80 years have passed since Yuuki's defeat. Rimuru, after dwelling for countless years at the end of time and space, has surpassed Veldanava in terms of strength and is, therefore, the strongest being in the Cardinal World. With his strength, he easily dealt with the aftermath of the final battle and accomplished his dream of coexistence between monsters and humans. Although he is happy with the results, his daily routine consists of constant paperwork. During one of these boring days, Ciel, who is worried about the mental state of her master, suggests creating an alternate timeline and traveling back in time. Rimuru, not wanting to do everything over again, comes back with an alternative idea. Going back in time, but with one addition: instead of traveling to his original time of reincarnation as a slime, he decides to go much further back in time and become one of the ancient demon lords. Chapter 1: 80 years since Yuuki's defeat. Rimuru has accomplished his dream. Coexistence between monsters and humans is now a reality. Monsters are free to live not just in Tempest, but in every country. Discrimination is illegal, and nobody dares to break this rule. The reason is simple: Tempest's covert agents. They were feared throughout the Cardinal World, and nothing could be hidden from them. There were, of course, some nobles who dared to break this rule to satisfy their ego, but they were quickly taken care of. During this time of peace, there were some people who were not happy at all. One of them was currently in Tempest, sitting in front of a mountain of documents that had been stockpiled over the whole week. This person was none other than the strongest demon lord, Rimuru. This particular demon lord, despite being the strongest, was in great danger. The person standing before him was none other than the lovely but, when angered, scary Shuna. "Shuna-chan, you look very lovely," Rimuru said. "Flattery won't help you right now. You were slacking off for a whole week, playing pranks on other demon lords, and as a result, you neglected your duties. You're not allowed to leave before you are finished with all these documents. Can I at least?" "No." Shuna was smiling, but her eyes were not. She wouldn't even let him finish his sentences. "What can I do? What can I do? What can I do?" "Got it. Ciel-chan, what do you think? Could you perhaps?" "No matter what, Shuna is right," Ciel interrupted. "You neglected your duties despite my warnings. You must take responsibility and do it yourself." "But it's been 80 years now. For 80 years, all I've been doing is paperwork. I'm happy we're at peace, but it's boring to do paperwork every day. You're the leader of this country, master. Everyone is doing their duties, and your duties, unfortunately, involve paperwork. It can't be helped. You're no fun, Ciel. Maybe I should ask Chloe-chan. I'm sure she would help me." "Not necessary. I'm not going to do your work, but I'm going to help you." "Too easy." "What do you mean, master?" "Oh, nothing, just your imagination." Since Chloe kissed Rimuru during their fight with Michael, Ciel had been in a kind of rivalry with Chloe. Rimuru, knowing this, would use this information to his advantage from time to time. Some may call it cheeky, but to Rimuru, it was necessary, otherwise, he would have to work for a whole week to finish all this paperwork. "All right, Shuna, I promise I will work hard and finish all of this, and I'm sorry that I slacked off. I promise to not do something like this again." "You said the same thing last month after we discovered your Walpurgis plot with Dino-sama and Guy-sama," Shuna replied. "Ooh? Completely forgot about that. I'm sorry, Rimuru-sama, okay? I'm sorry. I promise not to slack off anymore." A month ago, Rimuru, Dino, and Guy, who were bored out of their minds, conspired together and called a Walpurgis with all sorts of excuses. In the end, Luminous caught Rimuru, Dino, and Guy after the incident. The Queen of Snitches complained to the two overlords, Shuna and Velzad, about it. Rimuru got a beating by Velzad, Dino was banned for a whole month from getting sweets in Tempest, and Rimuru was sentenced to doing additional paperwork. Rimuru got his revenge on Luminous, of course, and was pretty satisfied. For 2 weeks, he had been following Lumina secretly, constantly casting illusions that let her see everyone as males. This made her angry, of course, especially after she discovered that she even saw Hinata and Chloe as males. Rimuru wanted to prank her for a whole month but was scared that the vampire would discover him. In the end, he even left a multiple parallel existence back in his office. But to his annoyance, his parallel existence was not amused at all that he had to do paperwork, and it also went on a pranking spree. Even his parallel existence had enough. That's how boring his life was. After Shuna left, Rimuru, with the help of Ciel, started to do his work. But after a while, he noticed that Ciel was working on something behind his back. Actually, for the last month, she was usually quiet and busy with something. Ciel, are you working on something? I wanted to wait until it was finished, Master, but I found a solution to your boredom. Do you want to hear it? Oh, that's my Ciel-sensei. But what exactly? I don't want to face Shuna's wrath again. We could travel back in time and enjoy the livelier days of our journey again. As much as I'm bored, we achieved peace, and everyone worked hard for it. Don't you think it would be disrespectful toward the efforts of everyone? As tempting as it is, I can't put everything at stake just for my amusement. That's not a problem. With Master's power, it's possible to recreate an exact copy of this world and turn back its time. The events happening there wouldn't affect this world. But what about this world? I can't just leave everything and go on a journey. Unfortunately, we could leave a multiple parallel existence here. That way, your absence wouldn't make a difference. How did I forget about that? Ciel-san, you're the best. Praise me more, Master. Okay, here you go again with your smug face. You're the best. But Ciel, I have an idea. Do we have to go to the same time I was reborn? I mean, it would kind of be boring to do everything over again, don't you think? Which time do you want to travel to? Let me think. You know what? So many years have passed, and I'm still the newbie. I want to travel back and be one of the ancient demon lords. Is it possible to travel that far back? Of course, Master. Which time exactly would you like to travel to? To the point shortly before Milim became a demon lord. I don't want the responsibility of establishing the demon lords. I think that would be a good time. The preparations are already complete, Master. Do you wish to create a multiple parallel existence and start our journey? A big yes. Rimuru, with the help of Ciel, created a parallel existence who looked rather jealous. Rimuru felt pity for his other self, who had to do all his paperwork. Hey, I'm sorry that you have to stay here and deal with everything. I promise I'll send you some memories of our journey to keep you entertained. I promise. I have no choice. At least one of us has a chance to have fun. Go on, have fun. All right, Ciel, let's go. Activating ultimate skill, Space-Time God Yog Suthath. Starting operation in 3, 2, 1. As soon as the countdown ended, Rimuru vanished, leaving behind a grumpy parallel existence who had to do his work for him. Where once was located one of the most powerful nations, everything was now covered in ice. Everything was frozen, and no weak race could even enter this icy desert. This was the Ice Continent, the territory of the first and strongest demon lord, Guy Crimson. Guy Crimson wasn't exactly the reason for the state of this place, the one responsible was his partner, Velzard. Due to her leaking magicules, the whole land got frozen far and wide. There were just two interesting things to be seen in this frozen land. The first thing to be noticed was the Ice Palace. This was the residence of Guy Crimson and Velzard, the White Ice Dragon. The second thing to notice was a black dot hovering high up in the air. The constant snowstorms made it nearly impossible for anyone to identify what this was. But this dot was, in reality, a blue-haired maiden, or rather, a youth with long, blue-silvery hair with a hint of purple, looking around the age of 18 to 20. But the most striking detail was the golden eyes. Many were entranced by those eyes, which gave a feeling of being pierced through. No hiding, no secrets, they could see through everything. Those eyes belonged to none other than Rimuru Tempest, who popped out of thin air, or precisely, just arrived here in the past. That's why I don't like to fly over here and look at this. Despite my cold resistance, this place gives me chills. Why do they have to freeze a whole continent? It's due to the leakage of the white ice dragon. I know, but still, beating Veldora to a pulp every time, but she goes on to freeze the whole goddamn continent. Maybe I could change something about this place this time. I mean, Velzard mainly stayed in Tempest and enjoyed everything. I bet we could also improve the conditions of this place. That way, Guy and Velzard don't have to be on guard every day because of her. After finding out about Rimuru's evolution into a true dragon, Velzard declared him her younger sibling. That might sound wholesome, but not exactly for Rimuru. After just 2 weeks, Rimuru understood why Veldora was afraid of his sister. She went on and added Rimuru to her has-to-be-educated list. Rimuru, not wanting to do this all over again, came up with a plan this time. Ciel, you didn't forget to hide my dragon factor, right? As long as I'm just a demon lord, she won't care much. I don't want to join Veldora's suffering sessions again. Yes, master. Don't worry, everything is fine. All right, let's go and play with this redhead, shall we? And thus, with a wicked smile, Rimuru teleported inside the Ice Palace. Guy Crimson and Velzard were sitting on the balcony of the castle. It was tea time. They were talking about this and that when Guy suddenly felt a weird presence. It was very weak, nearly non-existent. This presence vanished as soon as it came. Guy felt troubled. Is it Veldora? No, he can't conceal himself that well. He wouldn't even bother to hide himself. That idiot comes barging in every time. But who could it be? The lone fact that he managed to come here indicates that he has to be strong. Guy and the others are still in hell, so it wouldn't be them. I have to check this out. I have to go and check something. I'll return in a minute. You look bothered, Guy. What happened? It has to be something important to bother even you. Oh, no, I just have to quickly check something. It won't take long. If you say so. And thus, Guy went to the location of the presence he felt. But when he arrived there, no sign of it was left. No sign of magic or special motion being cast. Nothing. He has to still be around. Then he walked around the castle, looking for the intruder, but found nothing. Just when he was about to give up, he saw a blue-haired maiden walking around the corner. Hey, who are you? What are you doing in here? No response. He followed the direction the blue-haired maiden went, but she was gone. No traces at all were left. She had no presence at all. Was it the same person who gave off this weird presence? Are there more than 2 intruders? Am I going crazy? Well, whatever. I'll tell Rain and Misery to look out if anything is odd. He then returned to the balcony where Velzard was enjoying her tea. Did you find what you've been looking for? You look more troubled than before. I think I'm just tired. I'm starting to see things. Can you even physically get tired? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Rain, you said you brought sweets from Ingracia? They better be good. Yes, Guy-sama. Velzard-sama, would you also like some? Yeah, whatever. I might as well try some. And thus, after bowing, Rain left for the kitchen to get the sweets. Why did he have to remember them? I wanted to eat them by myself. Well, whatever. I'll just send someone over later to get some. But when she arrived in the kitchen, the sweets were nowhere to be found. Rain looked for them over and over again but couldn't find them. That means... Misery, you get your ass back into the kitchen right now. Misery, who was listening to the conversation between her master and Velzard, was startled for a second but quickly regained her composure. Ah, Misery-chan, what happened? It's rare to see some emotions on your face. It's nothing to worry about, Velzard-sama. I'll go help her in the kitchen. In the kitchen? Excuse me, Misery, why are you shouting? I'm on my way. What happened? And what's with that killing intent you're emitting? They said that you're allowed to eat the sweets I brought all by yourself? I was looking forward to eating them, and you stupid greenhead ate them all by yourself. What are you talking about? I didn't. No excuses can save you right now. Just wait. And so, the fight between the blue and the green primordial began. Meanwhile, on the balcony. Guy-sama, bad news. Misery-sama and Rain-sama are fighting right now. The whole floor is damaged. We can't go near them. What are those two up to again? Well, whatever. Velzard, I'll go separate them. Whatever, just be quiet. I'm going to sleep afterward. I don't want them to disturb me, or I'll personally beat them myself. Guy arrived at the scene. Hey, you two, what were you fighting for? Do I have to beat you to a pulp again? I'm sorry, Guy-sama. I lost control for a moment, but Misery committed a crime worthy of death. What did she do? She ate all the sweets I wanted to eat. I mean, the sweets I bought for you, Guy-sama. Misery, is that true? No, Guy-sama, I didn't even touch them. I wouldn't dare to eat something reserved for you. First this blue-haired maiden, and now the missing sweets. Is someone playing a prank on me? Well, whatever. I have a feeling that someone is looking around in the castle. Keep looking out for him. Do as you wish, Guy-sama. Wait for me, you sweet thief. I'll find you, and then I'll kill you, thought Rain as she started to look around the castle. The culprit, meanwhile, was flying in the direction where Milim would soon rampage. I told you, Ciel. I told you Rain would start a war over sweets. You're so childish, Master. But, Ciel, you remember what you promised me, right? Unfortunately, yes. But that can wait until after we save Milim, right? Yeah. I mean, it's still too early for it anyway. Let's go, Ciel, we have to help my bestie soon. And so, he headed to the location where in a few hours a new demon lord would be born. The girl with pink hair flew above the destroyed sorcery kingdom. Her only friend, the small baby dragon gifted to her by her deceased father, Veldanava, was killed by these foolish elves, and they paid for it. Despite the destruction, the little girl was burning with rage. After receiving the souls of the dead, she evolved into a true demon lord. The world, watching this girl getting consumed by her anger, gifted her the ultimate skill, wrathful King Satanarel. Not able to think clearly, she went on a destruction spree. Unbeknownst to her, there was someone hidden, watching her. Ciel, you managed to get it, right? Yes, Master. Received the soul of the dead dragon. Would you like to use the secret art of revival? I managed to secretly snatch the dead body so that the Chaos Dragon wouldn't awaken. But is it a good idea to revive him now? I heard from Guy that Milim went crazy and destroyed the kingdom that killed her friend. But now that I see her in this state, I'm not sure if it's possible to calm her down even if she sees her friend safe and sound. I think it's best to just wait until Guy and Ramiris confront her. So, Rimuru was following Milim, who was heading toward the soon-to-be barren lands. On his way, he set multiple barriers to prevent innocent people from getting caught in the rampage of Milim. Wait, now that I've prevented the revival of the Chaos Dragon, doesn't that mean that there won't be a Laplace? So Elmesia-chan won't lose her father this time? Sylvia-san was pretty sad that Laplace couldn't remember her and his daughter. I'll save her from this sadness this time. Milim, you have to stop this right now. You already killed the ones responsible, so stop your rampage already. Guy Crimson, who confronted Milim, was trying to calm her down. At this point, they had already exchanged several blows. Velzard, meanwhile, was maintaining a barrier surrounding the two to prevent the leaking magicules from destroying everything around. Although Guy didn't want to hurt Milim, he couldn't hold back either. If he did, there was a probability that he would simply die. And thus, the battle continued. With her newfound power, Milim threw everything at Guy and drew him into a corner. Velzard, who tried to hold the barrier, was struggling. The magicules that the two demon lords were leaking were too rampant. If this goes on, the barrier won't withstand it. At this point, it doesn't even matter if Guy manages to calm her down. If these molecules leak out, everything surrounding this area will be destroyed. To answer her desperate call for help, Ramiris teleported right next to her. It doesn't look good, does it? If this goes on, calamity will befall the West. Ramiris, glad you're here. I don't know what to do. Do you have an idea how to stop these magicules? On top of that, Milim, poor Milim-chan. I have something in mind, but you have to keep the barrier intact. I'll absorb the leaking magicules. What? Even though you're the queen of the spirits, you can't just absorb everything. Think about what will happen to you. There's no other way. Keep the barrier intact. Wait, Ramiris. Ramiris was already on her way to take action. Watching this was a troubled Rimuru. Actually, I wanted to wait for them to calm her down. How the hell did this noble and beautiful Ramiris turn into our present fairy meat? I guess I can't just watch her sacrifice herself. And with that, he came out of his imaginary space and teleported right next to Ramiris. Poor Milim-chan, I'm sorry I couldn't help you to prevent your friend's death. I guess I have no choice. Once my part is done, all that's left is for Guy to calm her down. She was deep in thought and didn't realize the blue-haired beauty approaching her until he was floating right next to her. Who's this? What is he doing here? Alone that he can withstand such an enormous amount of magicules, she is no ordinary being. You should get out of here. It's too dangerous. If you stay any longer, you could die, Ramiris said. The blue-haired maiden replied, don't worry about me. Let me help. I think I can absorb all these magicules to prevent them from leaking out. Don't worry, it's not harmful for me. Absorb? How could she do that without getting harmed? Even I wouldn't survive this without serious consequences. Why would she? But her thoughts were once again interrupted by this blue-haired individual. Devour all, Azathoth. And in the next second, all magicules were absorbed. Not just the leaking magicules, but also the barrier Velzard was maintaining by fully powering it up. Using her power, the barrier of the strongest true dragon alive was fully absorbed. Before Ramiris could say something, the blue-haired maiden was already on her way to Milim. That went well. Now all I have to do is calm down Milim. I think in this state, the usual honey trap won't work. Ciel, what do you suggest? How could we stop her without hurting her? Milim is currently only in this state because of her ultimate skill, Wrathful King Satanarel. Although it's a powerful skill, it requires a lot of magicules. In Milim's case, her magicule breeder reactor provides it with more than enough energy. My suggestion would be to use Void God Azathoth's consumption skill to absorb her energy. This way, we could prevent the usage of the skill Satanarel, and she would most likely go into sleep mode. Like her master, due to her rampage state, she forcefully prevents this with the usage of Satanarel. All right, sounds good. Let's go. Redhead, leave her to me. I have a way to calm her down. Who are you calling? Wait, what do you mean calm down? How could you just leave it to me? I promise I won't hurt her. Guy, still dumbfounded, accepted his proposal because he didn't know what else to do. Pink-haired girl, look, I'm here. Come and get me. This was enough to get her attention, and now, Rimuru hoped for the best. I will kill you all. All of you. All of you. And with this proclamation, she rushed to Rimuru and started to attack him. Each punch thrown was devastating, but Rimuru easily avoided each one. Milim, I need you to go to sleep right now. When you wake up, there will be a surprise for you, Rimuru whispered to the still rampaging Milim and activated Azathoth. Milim, after the absorption of most of her magicules, started to lose her consciousness and began to fall toward the ground, only to be caught by Rimuru and Princess carried to the earth. After Sylvia and Elmesia-chan, de Gruel should also be thankful. Despite some damages here and there, it's not a barren land this time. Ciel, did you revive him? Yes, Master. He is currently asleep. Would you like to release him from the imaginary space? Yes, please do it. Rimuru gently put Milim down on the ground and laid the sleeping baby dragon right next to her. Right when he was about to leave. Wait. Wow, all three at the same time, huh? I guess I have some explanations to do. Yes, we have to talk, Guy said. And thus, they made their way to the ice continent. I wonder if Rain has already bought sweets again. They were delicious. So, what you're saying is that you're an adventurer who trained in the mountains for 100 years, and that's how you got so strong. And when you were taking a walk, you saw a pink-haired girl destroying a city and went there to check if everything was all right. Then you found out the baby dragon wasn't dead but injured, and took it with you. And when you saw how we were trying to stop Milim, you felt pity and used a special technique to absorb the magicules and stop her. Is that your story? Guy Crimson, who was sitting in front of Rimuru, just repeated this story told to him by Rimuru. They had arrived at the Palace of the White Ice half an hour ago, where currently Rimuru's interrogation was being held. Yeah, that's how it was. I was pretty lucky, you know? For a minute, I thought I would die. Huh? Lucky, you say? Are you kidding me? Do you think anybody here would believe that crap story you just told? Ram Iris and Velzard, who were also listening to the whole conversation, nodded their heads in agreement with Guy's statement. You said your name was Rimuru Tempest, right? Asked Ram Iris. Yes. Why did I call her just now? Although she isn't a neat freak as of right now, I can't talk seriously to her without picturing the annoying Ram Iris from our timeline. But the annoying one was at least easy to talk to. For some reason, I can't concentrate when I talk to her. Should I forcefully turn her into the Fairy Queen? Master, did you travel back in time to become the villain? I know. I was just joking. Yes, I was just joking, Ciel. All three of us consider ourselves strong, but none of us could have absorbed these dense magicules and come out unscathed. And you say you managed to do this by just training 100 years in the mountains? How should I respond? I should have just told them that it's a secret I don't want to reveal, as Ciel proposed. I can't say that I time-traveled just to become an ancient demon lord. It looks like he has secrets he doesn't want to share with us. Let it be. In the end, he helped us and prevented a big disaster. It doesn't really matter who he is, said Velzard, who correctly read the mood and decided to help Rimuru. Velzard-san, you're the best. I promise I'll help you get hooked up with Guy in this timeline, my savior. But there's one thing I want to ask either way. What were you doing in our castle? I saw you walking around. Even now, I can't feel either an aura or any magicules leaking from you. Who? What do you mean, Guy? It's my first time here. Despite its look, it's pretty comfortable and warm in here. Guy's eyebrows twitched, but he managed to calm down. He had an exaggerated look on his face. Who's this guy? First your daughter, and now this? Are you playing a prank on me, Veldanava? After changing location to the balcony, Velzard's favorite place after her bed, they decided to talk about more casual topics until Milim woke up. I have to say, Guy, these sweets are really good. I can't get enough of them. Nothing special. Glad you enjoy it. Rimuru could see Rain's eyebrows twitch for a moment, but she regained her composure the moment after. Meanwhile, Rain was having an inner crisis. Please stop. Don't eat everything. Those were my backup stash. I wanted to eat them. Just wait, you thief. I'll find you. By the way, Rimuru, what exactly are you? I don't think you're a human, but you don't seem to be a demon either. Are you a monster? I can't feel anything from you. Ah, I'm a monster indeed. I'm a slime. Come on, you have so many secrets, you could at least tell us this much, said Velzad. No, really, I'm a slime. He should come up with better excuses. Fine, even Velzad doesn't believe me. Am I really that untrustworthy, Ciel? Master, you told them that you trained in the mountains for 100 years, among other suspicious things. As of now, you seem suspicious. No, that's no excuse or anything. Look! After Rimuru transformed into his slime form, everyone was dumbfounded. Guy even fell from his chair. After dwelling for countless years at the end of time and space, like his human mimicry, his slime form also underwent some changes. He now had a diameter of more than 1.5 meters, but he used his usual smaller form. His color had changed from silverish blue to golden. He looked as majestic as a slime could look. Diablo, after seeing this form for the first time, nearly fainted and afterward praised him for hours until Rimuru had thrown him out. After showing them his form, Rimuru turned back into his human form and continued to eat his sweets. He wanted to ask for a refill for his tea but realized that Rain and Misery were nowhere to be found. Before Guy, Ramiris, or Velzad could regain their composure, a big explosion was heard, and Rain was sent flying onto the balcony. Rimuru, as a reflex, caught her and tried to find the culprit for this attack. Guy and Velzad, for some reason, were pretty relaxed and casually talked. They're pretty late, right? Yes, I was wondering when they would arrive. Rimuru, not knowing who they were talking about, felt a familiar presence and realized who it was. Flying above them was a red eastern dragon, a familiar one. In addition, flying next to her was a blond young man who had a smug expression on his face as a result of his big entrance. I hope you're not too exhausted from your fight against Milim. I wouldn't want you to use that as an excuse for your loss. These two newly arrived figures were none other than the real Rudra and Velgrind. I should have left when I had the chance, were the only thoughts Rimuru had. Chapter 2, A Hero and a Demon. These two had fought many times, and their fighting didn't seem to come to an end anytime soon. This whole thing started when the hero set out to slay the evil demon, whom he considered the biggest threat to the world. They fought, but no winner was decided. They fought again, and it always ended in a draw. After some time, they took a liking to each other. They developed a friendship, but nevertheless, they weren't friends. They were friendly rivals. The difference is big between those two terms. What kept this friendly relationship ongoing was simply their fights, which both enjoyed a lot. The demon, considered the strongest, was able even to surpass the true dragons, which were deemed unbeatable. Veldanava, of course, was out of the question. The demon had in the past challenged the first true dragon and suffered an instant defeat. Now that Veldanava had died, the only one able to fight him on par was Velzad, the second true dragon. Or so he thought. The appearance of the hero, who managed to draw with him, brought some excitement to his life. Passing time as the strongest without a rival was boring, and this hero was able to rival him. The hero, on the other hand, was considered the strongest hero, with no equals among humans. After fighting so many mindless beasts and semi-strong monsters, he was bored. He had even forgotten the excitement that came with a good fight. But then he met this demon he couldn't beat. He didn't lose, but he didn't win either. No matter how often they fought, it always ended in a draw. This demon managed to light the flames of excitement in him and brought joy into his life. It didn't even matter to him if the demon was evil or not, he had already forgotten that he originally wanted to slay him. Now he just enjoyed these fights, and someday wanted to end this series of draws and win. These two were Guy Crimson and Rudra. Both of them were pretty similar, and both were very competitive. They even decided to turn this into a game. Guy would recruit so-called demon lords, and Rudra had his empire. The last time they fought, Guy said Rudra would become weak due to still being a human. He suggested they get pawns and let them fight against each other, but that was humiliating for Rudra. Today, he came to show Guy that he was as strong as ever and would even beat him. His aim was for his sudden appearance in the Palace of White Ice. Just wait, Guy. Today, I'll beat you and your pawns. Unlike Rudra and Guy Crimson, there was someone who was rather exasperated about the sudden turn of events. He had a perfect poker face, but inside, he was having trouble deciding what to do and how it had come to this. I just wanted to save Milim and have some fun, and now this bastard shows up. I had enough of this Rudra and Michael thing in the original timeline, and now I have to deal with it all over again. Maybe I should just beat him to a pulp and make sure he decides to give up his game with Guy. Or kill him? No, Velgrind would hunt me down for sure if I did that. This hero is such a pain. Master, it seems you insist on becoming the villain, Ciel noted. Oh, no, Ciel, but he caused us so many problems and I don't know what to do. I don't know how it would affect the timeline if I do something against him, and waiting for him to attack Tempest in the future also isn't really an option either. What do you think? What should I do? Master, the lone fact that you came here to be one of the ancient demon lords will change the timeline drastically. No matter what you do, it won't affect the original timeline, so you can act as you wish. Yes, you're right. I don't even know why I made such a fuss about it. Let's have fun, Ciel. Yes, Master. Rimuru-sama, I'm all right. You can put me down now. Oh, crap, I forgot I was carrying her. Is she blushing, or am I seeing things? Master, your hand, Ciel pointed out. Rimuru, who had caught rain as a reflex, didn't realize that his left hand was placed on a spot that could even make one of the primordial demons flustered. Realizing this, he quickly let go of her and turned his head away to hide his embarrassment. Thank you, Rimuru-sama. Is she angry? Of course she is. She is even stuttering. I hope she won't hold a grudge against me for that. Master is as dense as ever. Dense? Hey, if you have something to say it, Ciel. What do you mean, dense? Ciel seemed disappointed in him. What does she mean, anyway? I have other things to worry about now. As Rimuru was thinking about this, both Rudra and Velgrind, in their human forms, had landed on the balcony and were now approaching them. Guy! You know why I'm here today. Today is the day I'll win for sure. No draws anymore. Where do you want to fight? I wouldn't want to accidentally destroy your castle. Rudra, as much as I would want to fight you right now, I have a guest. You should have told me in advance. A guest? Another one of your pawns? Doesn't matter. I'll beat you both and show you who the real weakling is. He isn't a demon lord. He just helped us to calm down Milim. If you want to fight him, you'll have to ask him yourself. Guy was not sure what to think about this Rimuru, who came out of nowhere. He couldn't read him or his strength at all. I hope Rudra fights Rimuru. That way, I can at least see what he's capable of. Maybe he is even worthy to join our group. Rimuru, who was standing as still as possible to go unnoticed, cursed Guy. I bet he just wants to know how strong I am. And maybe I could get this Rudra back for this whole stupid game he set off with Guy. Because of him, all I did was fight war after war. Yes, that way, I'm sure I would be accepted as a demon lord and get back at him. Hey, Guy-san, this blondie doesn't seem strong at all. Are you sure I should fight him? Rimuru asked. You insolent brat. Who do you think you are to insult Rudra? Velgrind, who was standing silently next to Rudra, was enraged at this blue-haired stranger who dared to insult Rudra. But he doesn't seem that strong to me. Did I say something wrong? Before Rimuru could finish his thought, Velgrind rushed to him and started to attack. Rimuru, knowing it would come to this, just dodged every punch and kick she threw. Not lifting a hand, he easily avoided every strike she delivered, effortlessly. Why can't I hit him? Why can't I hit him? Why isn't he attacking? Is he keeping up an act? Yeah, that must be it. I'm sure after some time he'll be exhausted and I'll get him. After 5 minutes of constantly attacking, Velgrind was at her wit's end. This stranger was effortlessly dodging her every attack with minimal movements, without even fighting back. Is he looking down on me? Enraged by this realization, she once again attacked. Do we have to do this, Velgrind-san? Shut your mouth. I'm going to make you pay for what you said. In her anger, Velgrind became careless and lost her momentum for a second after Rimuru successfully dodged a kick of hers. Before she knew it, she slipped and was about to crash onto the floor. But to her surprise, the crash never came. She suddenly realized that Rimuru had caught her and was princess carrying her. You shouldn't act out of anger, Velgrind-san. You look better when you smile. Velgrind, her face turning totally red despite being in her human form, suddenly felt all her anger being swept away. But after realizing her current situation and seeing her sister's mocking face, she became all flustered and shy. Let go of me. What do you think you're doing? Rimuru, realizing what he was doing, quickly let her go, resulting in her crashing down to the floor bottom first. HMPF. Is this how you treat a lady? I'm sorry. Hey! Don't forget about me. I'm your opponent as of now, Rudra called out. Rudra, after first being dumbfounded at the events before him, took out his sword and dashed toward Rimuru. But before he could land a blow, Rimuru casually lifted his arm and flicked his finger against the blade, resulting in Rudra's sword being shattered to pieces. How? How did you do that? Oh, I'm sorry. I broke your toy, Blondie. I just wanted to parry, I swear. I didn't think you would attack me with a toy sword. Toy sword? Rudra's sword was in reality mythical grade and embedded with holy magic. It was in no way weak and was able to match Guy's sword during their fights, yet Rimuru just casually broke it with a flick of his finger. The reaction of the audience was exactly the same. They were all dumbfounded at the display of power Rimuru had just shown. They guessed that he was probably strong, but not to this extent. I see. I guess I need a stronger sword to fight you. I'll return once I have one at my disposal. We shall take our leave now. What do you mean? We could do a fist fight, right? I could lend you a sword if you want. No, I have some things to do back at the Empire. Let's go, Velgrind. We'll visit another time. Velgrind, after her crash to the floor, was still sitting in the same spot and had been silent until now. I'll stay here for some time. I have to check on Milim, after all. That's the whole reason I came with you. All right. Give her my regards then. And thus, Rudra left, leaving behind a dumbfounded crowd, especially a red-haired demon who for some reason felt a sudden pain in his head. Why is my head hurting? Is this what they call a headache? Just who is this Rimuru? And at that moment, thanks to Rimuru, Guy Crimson had his first ever headache. Rimuru, I have an offer, Guy said, still nursing his headache. Located in a pocket dimension created by Guy Crimson, a banquet was held. This place was not unfamiliar to Rimuru. This exact pocket dimension was used to host the Walpurgis meetings in the original timeline. 5 people were participating in this banquet: Guy, Ramiris, Velzard, Rimuru, and for some reason, Velgrind. The room was silent, and everyone was enjoying the meals. So, Guy, is this banquet some kind of bribery to make me accept your so-called offer? Rimuru asked, knowing Guy's methods. Even if I didn't know him beforehand, I would have fallen for it. But too bad for you, Guy. I know exactly that this isn't just an offer, but you want me to join desperately. Let's play with you a little, shall we? Oh, quite sharp, aren't you? Not exactly bribery, consider it an act of goodwill. Now that everyone has finished their meals, let's talk about my offer, shall we? I'm sure you'll like it. Wait, Guy, did you forget we have an intruder also partaking in this meeting? Velgrind, why are you still here? Didn't you stay to check on Milim? Velzard asked. She is in the castle, in one of the guest rooms. Misery guided my sister to Milim's room, Guy answered. Then turning to his guest, he added, "As always, sister. No, I'd like to stay and also hear about that offer. I can see Milim when she wakes up. This offer has nothing to do with you, Velgrind. You choose to act as a pawn for Rudra, so this doesn't involve you in any way. I just agreed for you to stay because of Milim's condition. I'm not a pawn. I just stayed with him because I was bored doing nothing and he piqued my interest." "Ah, what happened to your usual attitude, Velgrind? All you talked about was Rudra this and Rudra that. I even thought you were in love with him for a while." "What? What are you saying, sister? As if I, the Scorched Dragon, would fall in love with." "Don't say things that could be misunderstood. There are people here who would believe what you just said." Velgrind, who was as red as a tomato despite being in her human form, quickly glared at Rimuru before averting her gaze back to her sister, whom she was arguing with. Rimuru, who saw this, had some flashbacks of his fight against Velgrind during the war against the Empire. "Oh, she's angry. After I ate Veldora, she also had a red tone on her face. But why is it? Is it because I belittled her during our small spark before? But I didn't want to hurt her. I hope I don't have to fight her again. She is simply too hard to calm down. Master, you are so dense. Even I have a hard time expressing it this time." "Ooh? Did you say something, Ciel?" "Yes, you're dense, and this time it's not your imagination." "What's up with Ciel?" "Dense, me? Why? I wish she could at least help me instead of calling me dense all the time." Guy, who was watching the bickering between the two true dragon sisters indifferently, smirked after witnessing Velgrind's reaction. That sudden turn of events will be amusing to watch, was all he could think. "Velzard, I don't mind if Velgrind wants to stay and listen to my offer. So, Rimuru, are you now willing to listen?" "Yes, go on. I'm currently assembling a group of demon lords, and I want you to join our group. I can tell you're strong after witnessing your quarrel with Velgrind here and Rudra, so I think you have the right to call yourself one of us." "Demon Lord? But what do I get from calling myself a demon lord and joining your group? I mean, it does rather sound bothersome. Come on, Guy, you have to try harder. I know you're desperate for me to join." Guy, who looked indifferent on the outside, was desperate to find a way to make this Rimuru join his group, no matter what. "I have to convince him. He's strong, maybe even as strong as me. I can't have him walk around and do what he wants. If he joins, at least I can have him on a leash and check up on him. You will receive a territory and can rule over it. How does that sound? Come on, just accept it already." "Territory? Why do I have to be a demon lord to have a territory? I can just settle somewhere and relax, can't I?" "You piece of," as if you would just stay still and relax, Guy thought, his patience wearing thin. "It looks like you are traveling alone. Maybe if you join us, you'll also receive your own servant. She could help you with your demon lord duties, and also cook for you or whatever." "Wait, what? She? Who is he talking about?" "I mean, it would be helpful before Benimaru and the others are born, but who does he have in mind?" "She? Who do you have in mind?" asked Velzard, who was wondering what Guy was planning. "Rain, come here." Rain, who had been standing at the back of the room together with Misery, walked next to Guy. "From today onward, you'll serve Rimuru-sama." Every guest present, excluding Rain and Guy, screamed out loud. Handing out a primordial demon to a total stranger just to get him to join the demon lords was completely unprecedented. "Guy-san, what exactly are you talking about?" "Exactly what I said, Rimuru. And drop the Rasan, Guy is enough." Elmesia, who had been thoroughly enjoying Guy's desperate attempts to recruit the slime, completely spit out her drink upon hearing the offer. Rimuru thought to himself, "I knew he wanted me to join, but Rain? She was a massive problem child in the original timeline and caused me so many headaches. Together with Diablo and Adalman, she literally founded a religion in my name, causing Veldora and Luminous endless trouble. They nearly started a holy war because some priests of the Holy Church wouldn't accept the newly founded Rimurism. But this version of Rain doesn't know me yet. Maybe I can raise this problem child properly and stop the issues before they even start. Before I accept, I want to know what Rain thinks about this, Rimuru said aloud. I don't want to force her against her will. Rain, blushing profusely the moment Guy made the offer, had trouble answering due to sheer excitement. It would be an absolute pleasure, my lord. Drop the lorder stuff, Rain. Rimuru is enough. As you wish, Lord Rimuru. Hearing this, everyone present was silently facepalming for various reasons. Everyone except Rain, of course. Guy, who had panicked for a brief moment wondering what Rain would say, let out a massive sigh of relief. See? It's settled. So, Rimuru, do you accept my offer to join our group? Yes, I'll accept, Rimuru replied, but under one condition. A condition? You're greedy, aren't you? Fine, what is it? I want to be the one responsible for giving out titles to all the demon lords who join us from now on. Guy gave him a quizzical look but didn't overthink it. I don't see a problem with that. Is there a specific reason? No specific reason at all. I'm just really good with names, you know. Rimuru gave a casual wave of his hand. Hearing this, the other demon lords felt a wave of relief, glad to pass such a difficult duty on to the newest member. Rimuru, on the other hand, was grinning mischievously inside. Just you wait, Luminous. Author's note. Hey everyone, sorry for the late chapter. I've been super busy with school stuff and couldn't finish it until today. Quick question for you all, should I add romance to the story, or should our adorable slime stay single forever? What do you think? Do you have a favorite ship in mind? Let me know in the comments. With Rimuru officially joining the ranks, the heavy tension in the room vanished as if it had never existed. The main meals were finished, and Rain and Misery brought out the desserts. I have to say, Rain, Misery, you both really know how to cook, Rimuru praised. Everything was delicious. Maybe I can teach you a few recipes myself while I'm staying here. I'm an excellent cook myself, you know, he stated proudly. Rain was instantly flustered and amazed by how incredible her new master was. Is there anything Rimuru-sama can't do? To think he's going to teach me new recipes. What kind of otherworldly dishes will he show me? Oh, I can't wait to find out. By the way, Rain, can you come over here real quick? Rimuru called out. I need to name you now that you're my official assistant. And name me? As your assistant. Noticing Rain's panicked expression, Rimuru quickly realized he needed to explain things so she wouldn't freak out. Don't worry. Your name will still be Rain, but I'm going to rename you properly. I can see that your current potential is limited because of how Guy named you. And yes, you're going to be my assistant to help me with various tasks. Is that all right with you? Oh, of course, Rimuru-sama. It is the highest honor to fill such an important position among your ranks. Rimuru sweated slightly. Boy, did I accidentally just create another Diawolo? Well, whatever, we'll deal with that behavior later. Guy crossed his arms, looking less than amused. Rimuru, you joined literally 10 minutes ago and you're already belittling my naming skills. Oh, no, Guy. Naming is just incredibly difficult, you know? Giving the perfect amount of magicules without harming yourself or limiting the target's potential is something even I struggle with. Honestly, if it weren't for Ciel, I don't think I could do any better. HMPF. Praise me more, Master. You are the absolute best, Ciel chimed in inside his mind. Thank you for your help, Ciel. I can always count on you. Rimuru turned back to the blue-haired primordial. All right, Rain. From this day onward, your name shall be Rain. A massive wave of magicules poured from Rimuru's body, completely wrapping around Rain. Though she remained a demon peer, her total magicule count surged significantly. Thank you for the name, Rimuru-sama, Rain said, bowing deeply. From today onward, I shall serve you with everything I have. Do your best, Rain-chan. I'm counting on you. Rain blushed slightly but managed to keep her composure. If it were up to her, she would be jumping around and crying tears of joy, but she had to act professional. I'm finally getting away from this freezing cold place. I wish Misery could join me, but whatever, I'll come back to visit her sometimes if Rimuru-sama allows it. Guy spoke up, breaking the moment. By the way, Rimuru, you talked about giving away titles, but I actually have a perfectly fitting title for you right now. As long as it's acceptable, I'm fine with it, Rimuru replied. It would be weird if I named myself anyway, I'm not that much of a narcissist. I thought so, Guy chuckled. You appeared out of nowhere, caused a massive ruckus, and managed to calm Milim down. You fought Velgrind and Rudra and won. Considering everything you've done so far, how about Chaos Creator? Yep, that perfectly befits Rimuru, Ramiris agreed, nodding. Velgrind, who had been silently listening the entire time, nodded along in agreement as well. Rimuru was internally conflicted. I mean, the everyday translation for that is basically problem child, isn't it? But it does sound cool. Way better than newbie. It even has an ominous ring to it if you don't know the context. I like it. I accept. That's a good name, Rimuru said. I also have a name for Milim. How about Destroyer? Guy looked impressed. Wow, you really are good at coming up with names. That was no bluff. Rimuru smirked inwardly. I just copied her old title from the future, but come on, who cares about originality? If it's Milim, it fits her perfectly. If I had to list every door she destroyed in Tempest or every mountain she leveled, we'd be here for eternity. So it's decided, Guy announced. Ramiris and I already have our titles. The humans actually came up with something decent for once. Our new demon lord shall be known as the Destroyer and the Chaos Creator. Misery, tell your underlings to reveal this to the human nations. Let's see how they react. Yes, Guy-sama. I'll do it right away. And just like that, the news of the two new cataclysmic demon lords spread across the world. Meanwhile, in the kingdom of Ingracia, which was much smaller in this era compared to what it would become in the future, a mysterious masked girl was walking through the cobblestone streets. We finally managed to escape from Luminous. She was clingier today than ever, Chloe. I thought I was the only one being harassed by her like that, but I guess we're in the same boat, Hinata, Chloe replied internally. But even so, I really miss Shuna-sensei's cooking. I don't want to wait 2,000 years for it. Chloe, don't talk about food. I'm already dying inside, Hinata grumbled from within their shared soul. Before I reincarnated, I was used to eating normal modern dishes. But because of him, I can't stop thinking about all the desserts and meals in Tempest. I'm definitely giving him a beating when we return to the present. Oh, you're never honest with your feelings, Hinata, Chloe teased. Do you miss him already? As if I would miss that stupid slime. All he thinks about are elves and pulling pranks. You should be more honest with yourself, Hinata, or else you'll never have a chance with him. I mean, you never really stood a chance in the first place because of me, but anyway. Chloe, shut up. As if I'd want anything to do with him. As Chloe walked around enjoying her brief freedom from Luminous, she continued bickering with Hinata. The two of them had bonded deeply after spending so many time loops trapped together in Chloe's body, becoming best friends. Suddenly, a massive shockwave rattled the town. A high-ranking demon crashed down from the sky, shattering the street beneath his feet. Chloe instantly took a battle stance, ready to strike, but she couldn't detect any immediate hostility. What are you waiting for, Chloe? We should kill him before he attacks. That's an archdemon. Hinata urged. Wait. I've seen this demon in my previous loops, Chloe realized. He usually brings the news about Milim joining the demon lords. But it's much earlier than usual. I wonder why. Before Chloe could finish her thought, the demon opened his massive jaws, projecting his voice across the entire city. Humans. From this day onward, 2 new demon lords have joined the ranks alongside Guy Crimson-sama and Ram-Iris-sama. The first to join is the destroyer, Milim-Nova-sama. The demon paused dramatically, letting the terrifying news sink in to breed panic among the human crowd. Did Luminous decide to join earlier than usual? Hinata asked, bewildered. What's going on? There should only be 1 new demon lord. I thought Milim was the only one to join at this point in time. Chloe didn't answer immediately. She was panicking. This wasn't supposed to happen. In all her countless time loops, Milim was always the sole addition during this era. I don't know, Hinata, Chloe stammered internally. Did we mess up? I did everything exactly the same as always. There shouldn't be any changes to the timeline. Who is the second one? Beneath her emotionless mask, Chloe's face was pale with panic. If the timeline fractured here, everything they were fighting to protect could fall apart. Their anxious thoughts were violently shattered as the demon spoke again, delivering the final part of the announcement. The second to join is the Chaos Creator, Rimuru Tempest-sama. That is all. With a powerful snap of his wings, the demon soared back into the clouds, leaving behind a screaming, terrified crowd. But amidst the chaotic, shouting citizens, Chloe stood absolutely petrified. She couldn't move a single muscle. Hinata! Chloe whispered, her voice trembling. Did I hear that last part right, or am I completely losing my mind? I'm certain he said. Rimuru Tempest, Hinata replied, her mental voice laced with sheer shock. Is this a joke? How can Sensei be here? I know he's powerful, but time travel isn't one of his abilities. Maybe Luminous is playing a prank on us. Let's go, Chloe! Hinata commanded. Wait, go where? We are going straight to the frozen continent to find out who this Rimuru's imposter really is. Wait, Chloe! Without another word, the masked girl bolted out of the city, charting a direct course for the icy domain of Guy Crimson. She was determined to confront whoever dared to use her beloved teacher's name. Just who on earth are you? Guy demanded. Yes, I was just about to ask the exact same question, Velzard added, her eyes narrowing. I'm curious too. Ram-Iris chimed in, staring suspiciously at the slime. Rimuru, Guy, Velzard, and Ram-Iris were all practically out of breath, even though they were spiritual beings who didn't actually need to breathe. Meanwhile, Rain, Velgrind, and Misery were completely ignoring the loud argument, blissfully enjoying an otherworldly culinary experience. Does that mean you guys actually like it? Rimuru asked, pointing at the dessert plates. Yes. But what even is this? Guy exclaimed, taking another bite. I've never seen anything like it in the Cardinal World, and I highly doubt Rudra has anything like this hidden in his empire either. Look at Velgrind over there, she's completely entranced by it. This is called tiramisu, Rimuru explained smugly. It's one of the recipes I plan to teach Rain, but I'm glad you all like it. The cause of their absolute astonishment was a mysterious, rich delicacy Rimuru had personally prepared. Of course, he hadn't actually made it just now, he simply pulled a fresh batch out of his imaginary space where time was completely stopped. Tira, miss you. Rain muttered, completely focused on cutting her next piece. It's tiramisu, Rain-chan. But it looks like you really love it. I have plenty more recipes to teach you. There are more delicacies like this. Ram-Iris gasped, her eyes turning into literal sparkles. I'll do my absolute best to help you from now on, Rimuru. Looking at her right now, no one would ever believe Rain was the terrifying blue primordial. Rimuru smiled to himself. I guess sweets really are the ultimate way to tame strong girls and true dragons in this world. 2 days had passed since the global announcement of the new demon lords. Rimuru, still waiting for Milim to finally wake up from her deep slumber, was just hanging around Guy and Velzard's castle, looking for any way to pass the time. He initially thought it would be a fun idea to introduce modern card games to them. Unfortunately, they had to ban the games entirely after Vels had suffered a brutal, continuous losing streak. Losing alone wasn't the issue, but Velgrind, who thoroughly enjoyed finally winning against her older sister for once, began relentlessly mocking her. What started as casual sibling banter quickly escalated into a catastrophic magical brawl. Guy and Rimuru had to physically step in to prevent the two true dragons from turning the entire continent into a crater. After everyone finished their desserts today, they split up. Velzard went to sleep, and the others returned to their duties. Rimuru was left alone on the balcony, peacefully sipping a fresh cup of tea. "Isn't this place surprisingly fun, Ciel?" "Master, watching you constantly prevent two true dragons from obliterating each other does not fall under my definition of fun," Ciel replied dryly. "Oh, come on, it's just a normal sibling squabble. I don't think they'd actually kill each other." "Well, Veldora is probably the exception to that rule." "If you say so, Master." However, the Scorched Dragon has been swimming in highly dangerous waters these past few days. "The Scorched Dragon? You mean Velgrind?" "Wait, why do you keep calling her a lizard? Is it because she keeps glaring at me? I mean, I kind of get it. It must have been super embarrassing for her to lose to me in front of Guy and everyone else." "Master, just give up." "Give up? What do you mean by that, Ciel?" "Nothing. It is merely your imagination." Here we go again," Rimuru sighed. "If you have something to say, just say it clearly." "Well, whatever. I don't think Velgrind would do anything stupid anyway." Boom! A massive explosion rocked the foundations of the castle, violently shattering Rimuru's peaceful tea time. "Is it Rudra again?" Rimuru snapped, his aura flaring. "Seriously, that man. This time I am going to beat him to a literal pulp." I was finally enjoying my tea. Curious and thoroughly annoyed, Rimuru instantly teleported to the front gates of the castle to see what was causing the ruckus. What he saw made his blood instantly run cold. Rain and Misery were desperately trying to hold back a very familiar masked girl. Even with her face covered, she radiated absolute, unbridled fury. "I said bring out the bastard who dares to use Sensei's name right now, or I will." Before she could finish her threat, her eyes locked onto the newly teleported Rimuru. Both of them froze instantly. Neither made a single movement. Panicking at maximum capacity, Rimuru immediately activated thought acceleration to its absolute limit, dragging Ciel into a high-speed mental conference. "Ciel! Oh my god, Ciel! What on earth is Chloe doing here?" "Master, you seem to have forgotten that both Chloe and Hinata were actively traveling through this era during their time loops." "But what am I supposed to tell them? Chloe might be understanding, but I am 100% sure Hinata is going to murder me when she hears my actual reason for being here." "You could simply tell them that you were bored in the future and decided to casually travel through time." "What is wrong with that, Master? Are you crazy? Hinata scolds me for literally everything. What's worse is the location we're at. What happens if Guy and the others find out I'm from the future? Guy will give me a hard time for the rest of eternity. I do not believe Chloe and Hinata will reveal your secret, Master. You could simply tell a partial truth and explain to Guy that she is your student from another land." "Okay, that's a viable option. Wait, let's first check if she even recognizes me. I mean, I look completely different in this era than she remembers, right?" "I will say no more, Master. Do as you wish." Ciel retreated into his mind. With the conversation over, Rimuru deactivated thought acceleration and turned his attention back to the battlefield. "Rain, Misery! Stand down, I have everything under control here. You can go back inside." "But, Rimuru-sama," Misery protested, looking at the aggressive intruder. "Don't worry. Tell Guy and the others that I'll handle everything out here." "As you wish, Rimuru-sama," Rain said hesitantly. The two maid primordials bowed and retreated back into the castle, leaving the two alone. Rimuru cleared his throat, trying to sound imposing. Hey there, masked girl. What exactly is your reason for trespassing here? The girl didn't answer. She just kept staring at him, her body trembling. After 5 long minutes of agonizing silence, the girl slowly reached up and removed her mask. Tears were streaming down her beautiful face. Sensei? It really is you. Chloe sobbed. She sprinted forward and threw herself into Rimuru's arms, hugging him with a force that could crack ribs, burying her face into his chest. Sensei? Sensei? She repeated over and over through her tears. All right, everything is fine now, Chloe, Rimuru said gently, patting her head. So stop crying, okay? I promise everything is going to be all right. Hearing those comforting words, a bright smile broke through Chloe's tears as she looked up at him. Rimuru offered her a warm, reassuring smile in return. But in an instant, the warmth vanished from the girl's face. Her expression turned entirely icy, and her grip on Rimuru's shoulders tightened with terrifying, superhuman strength. All right, Chloe. My turn. Switch with me, a sharp, strictly authoritative voice echoed from the girl's lips. You've had your moment. Now you have to face me, you absolute idiot. Rimuru's soul nearly left his body. Hinata-chan. You dare chana me, you complete moron. Hinata growled, a terrifying vein popping on her forehead. We're going to have a long, thorough talk inside. Rimuru, who had been ecstatic to see his beloved student just seconds ago, was now violently sweating bullets. Am I actually going to survive this? Side by side, the slime and the time traveler turned and walked into the castle, where a brutal second interrogation was about to begin. Chapter 3. In the Palace of White Ice, inside a small meeting room, 2 people were seated at a table in the middle of the room. One was insistently looking down at the table, while the other was staring daggers into him. The tension was high. While they were silently sitting there, a third person, a blue-haired maid, entered the room and broke the tension. Rimuru-sama, we had some tiramisu left over, so I thought you guests could also enjoy it, if it is okay with you. Velgrind, who was now in control of Chloe's body, averted her eyes from Rimuru and looked on in disbelief when she saw that it was really tiramisu. Her eyes twitched, and her glare toward Rimuru got even colder. Oh, Rain, good idea. Thank you. And by the way, it is still tiramisu. Rain, after being told the same thing twice now, flushed red out of embarrassment. She felt flustered because her beloved lord had praised her, and also because he did not scold her for saying it wrong the second time. What a forgiving lord I have. Well, you can leave now. We are going to have a private talk, I guess, Rimuru said, though he sounded less enthusiastic because of the cold glares the other party was giving him. Are you sure, Rimuru-sama? I can detect clear hostility from this individual over there. Not that I doubt your strength, my lord. I am sure you could just eliminate her with one flick of your finger, like you did with our last intruders. It is just, you can count on me to deal with annoying bugs, Rain proudly stated, throwing a disgusted look at the newly arrived girl like she was looking at a pebble on the street. No need to worry, Rain-chan. You have helped me a lot today. Why don't you go and rest for a bit until I am done here? Rain, who was offered the chance to do her third favorite thing, rest, immediately had sparkles in her eyes. The first thing was, of course, serving her lord, and the second thing was painting. Maybe I could make a portrait of my lord. That will for sure surprise him. With that, Rain made a slight bow and left the room. As soon as she left, the temperature in the room sank. Hey, Hinata! Hinata did not respond. For some reason, she was staring at the tiramisu brought to her, but she was still angry. Hinata, shut up. Well, I am here, thrown back into the past, trapped in this body. You are here safe and sound, and not just safe and sound, but as I can see, you are enjoying your stay in Guy Crimson's castle. Nonetheless, Hinata was trembling with anger. She had been killed, fused with Chloe, and sent into the past. How could he, who should be back in the present, be here and enjoying his time? Hinata, I know you are confused, but let me. Suddenly, Hinata stood up from her chair and rushed right to Rimuru, grabbing him by his collar and shaking him violently. Listen here, you little. I managed to keep my cool in the present time, no matter what nonsensical thing you did. But no, you have done it. I don't need any explanation. You traveled through time, I guess. I don't need any explanation disregarding everything and just coming here. Maybe I should just kill you here and right now. One less problem for the future. Ciel, help me. She won't listen to me. What can I do to calm her down? To say that Ciel was angry was an understatement. Ciel had enough time to understand the concept of emotions after her master had named her. She evolved into the manas, Ciel, and gained emotions. At first, she was overwhelmed with these new feelings, but living with her master, she managed to sort her thoughts and understand this new phenomenon. But after so many years, in this room, she felt a new emotion for the first time, anger. She, who should never have known this emotion, felt anger. And she, who should never be angered, was angered. How dare this low-life paladin touch and even threaten my master's life? I will kill her. I will kill her. No, that is not enough. I will erase her from existence. Just when she was in her thoughts, her master asked her for help. Her master asked her for help. Master, leave it to me. With this confirmation, she took control of her master's body, and with that, the nightmare began for Hinata. While Hinata was violently shaking Rimuru, she suddenly realized a change in Rimuru's expression. It turned into pure hatred and disgust. His beautiful golden eyes turned crimson red. Before Hinata could react to the sudden change, she was pressed to the ground by the massive amount of magicules and killing intent released by Rimuru, who was now controlled by Ciel. The whole castle, no, the whole continent, was shaking under the anger of Ciel. You filthy little paladin, dared to threaten my master and even touch him. I will erase you from existence for this sin. To say Hinata was scared was an understatement, she was horrified. Even Chloe, who was inside Hinata, was horrified by this sudden turn of events. Her sensei, who was loving and kind, was now sending pure waves of killing intent, and it was directed at her, or rather, Hinata. Then she realized what her sensei said. My master? Isn't that sensei? His eye color changed, and this person talked about sensei as if he were a different person. What is going on? Am I going to die? Ciel, in her anger, slowly made her way to Hinata, who was crouching on the floor while violently shaking and clutching her forehead. Suddenly, a white orb left Chloe's body and landed in Ciel's hand. Despite Chloe's affection for her master, she is dear to him. I wouldn't want to hurt her, Ciel said. Out of thin air, a new body was formed. Bones, organs, and muscles took shape, and after the process was finished, the new body fell to the ground. It was Hinata's original body. Ciel looked at the soul in her hand with disgust and fused it with the newly formed body. Hinata's body glowed for a while, and when the glow disappeared, Hinata opened her eyes. Now she was even more frightened. She realized that she was not in Chloe's body anymore, but when she realized her current situation, she again began to tremble. Hinata's new body, unlike Chloe's, was not enhanced. She was a normal human, unlike Chloe, who was a true hero. The meticulous killing intent released by Ciel now nearly suffocated her. So, little paladin. You said you wanted to kill my master. Wait, I wasn't serious. I didn't mean it. But you nevertheless touched my master violently, didn't you? Ciel approached Hinata slowly. Hinata couldn't move. Her legs were shaking like butter. Rimuru, who was shocked at the display in front of him, tried to calm Ciel down, but she did not hear him because of her anger. Ciel! Ciel, calm down! You need to calm down! Before Ciel could reach Hinata, she flinched at the sudden shout of her master. She then realized that her master was panicking. Did I go too far? No, she threatened master, and he asked for help. No matter who it is, nobody threatens my master. Ciel, calm down. You scared her enough. Any more and you are going to break her. Let me handle it from here on. Ciel, after hearing her master's words, calmed down. She retracted the magicule she had released and threw one last look at Hinata, who was still trembling and sobbing. If you dare to threaten my master again, I will make sure to erase your existence without leaving a chance for reincarnation. Don't forget that. With her last warning spoken, Ciel released her control and her master's eyes turned golden again. As soon as Ciel retracted her aura, everyone present in the castle rushed to the room. They had been unable to move from their spots because of the pressure until now. When they entered the room, they saw Rimuru standing above an unfamiliar-looking girl and the masked girl from before. When they saw that Rimuru was safe and sound, they relaxed for a bit but were confused nonetheless. Oh, Rimuru, what was that insane pressure? Was it that girl, or you? Guy asked. He couldn't identify it because Rimuru always completely erases his presence and does not leak any magicules. Even I couldn't lift a finger. What was that? Velzad also asked. An aura capable of suppressing a true dragon was nothing to laugh at. In Velzad's eyes, it was comparable to Veldanava. What they didn't know was that Ciel held back a lot so as not to damage the castle or her master's new friends. I lost control for a second. I apologize, everyone. It is nothing to worry about, really, Rimuru said, bowing a little to make up for the inconveniences he caused them. Ciel, of course, was displeased by her master's display but did not voice her opinion. We will talk later, okay? I am sorry, I have to talk with them first. When I am done, I will give some explanation of what just happened. Not just that, but you will also explain what that pressure was. I have never felt anything like that, Guy added. All right, all right. I will give a proper explanation later. Could you please leave us alone for a moment? They reluctantly nodded and left the room one by one. The only ones left behind were Velzad and Rain. Rimuru, call me if you need anything, Velzad said, and left, leaving only Rain behind. Rimuru-sama, should I dispose of them? They seem to have angered you. Rain threw an angry look at Chloe and Hinata. No, don't worry, Rain. It was a misunderstanding. I have to talk with her. I will call you if I need something, all right? Hey, all right, Rimuru-sama. I shall leave now. And with that, Rain also left the room, rather reluctantly. With just the three of them left in the room, Rimuru walked up to the two girls who were lying on the ground and offered both of them a hand to help them stand up. Chloe took his hand, but Hinata, still traumatized from Ciel's outburst, flinched. I am sorry for my partner's outburst. She is rather possessive, intense, and overreactive. So please, let's start over again, and let me give some explanations. Hinata reluctantly stretched her hand out, accepted Rimuru's help, and stood up. Rimuru created another chair for her and sat on it. After everyone was seated, Rimuru let out a sigh and started his explanation. So, let me explain why and how I am here. And that is how I got here. Rimuru had just finished explaining everything from the point where he was bored in his office, to Ciel's suggestion of creating a parallel world and turning back its time. But as he finished his explanation, he was met with silence from both Chloe and Hinata, who still looked traumatized from her first encounter with Ciel. This silence kept going for several minutes, and Rimuru started to feel worried. Ciel, is it possible that they don't believe me? No, Master. It seems that they are either processing it or trying to comprehend what you just told them. Now that I think of it, these are Chloe and Hinata from the original timeline. The original ones would know that it's not that hard of a thing to pull off for me. But these two, especially Chloe, are on their journey to become stronger and save me. How sweet she is. Sensei? Yes, Chloe. Does that mean the war? Yep, everything ended in the end. I managed to kill Yuuki, and we achieved world peace. Everyone is safe and sound. Even Yuuki, you know, after the attack, we thought he was dead, but in the final fight, he made a good entrance and helped us against the angels. He died in the end, but as a reward for him, I revived him. He is now married to Kigali and even has children. The empire you were so worried about is also a peaceful country now, with Yuuki as the emperor, even though he doesn't like it that much. I give him a lot of manga to keep him happy. The lightning hero, Yuuki, so he was that strong. Hinata finally decided to speak up. All right, she had died while fighting Granbell, so she didn't know much about Yuuki. Not really. He has strong skills, but he isn't that much of a fighter. I offered to teach him personally to cure my boredom, to help him as a friend, but he declined, saying that he would rather live a peaceful life. Sensei, does that mean you are safe? You won't die, am I hearing this right? Chloe, who had teary eyes, asked with a trembling voice. This girl went through a lot, didn't she? Yes, little Chloe. I am safe and sound. As for dying, if I had stayed in my office any longer, I would have died from boredom. Maybe my parallel existence is experiencing that right now. Before Rimuru could finish, Chloe jumped over the table and hugged Rimuru, and they both fell from the chair. Sensei! Sensei! I am so glad you are safe. I am so glad. Chloe muttered into Rimuru's chest while she was sobbing. Rimuru couldn't help but pat his beloved student's head and return her hug. He knew how much she had to endure, how many time loops she had to go through just to save him. Chloe was acting like a child around Rimuru, but after witnessing how she was during this time, acting as the nameless hero and looking for a way to save him, he realized how much she had grown up. No more hardships for you, Chloe. Chloe, still sobbing in Rimuru's chest, let out a smile but did not let go of Rimuru. While Rimuru and Chloe were on the ground, Hinata felt troubled after hearing what Rimuru had told her. She felt happy that the world had become something she always wished for, but she was worried because she couldn't feel her skills anymore. None of them, her usurper and mathematician, which were used to name Cronoa, were there. So, Chloe, what are you going to do now? I know in previous loops you tried to do everything again and again to ensure that the outcome is the same, but that is not a problem this time. I changed this timeline a lot just by becoming a demon lord around this time. What are your plans now? I want to stay with you, Sensei, Chloe said, while strengthening her grip around Rimuru. Right now, that is difficult, because I first have to talk with Milim when she wakes up and settle everything here. I don't know if Guy will be okay with you staying here, you know? But I promise I will visit you soon. Is that all right? Chloe, at first hesitant, thought about it for a while, but then she nodded with a smile. I will be waiting, Sensei. If you break your promise, she said, while wearing a scary smile. It sent shivers down Rimuru's spine. She gives the same vibes as Shuna when angry. Ciel, make sure that I don't forget about my promise. As you wish. After convincing Chloe to let go of him so that they could sit again, Rimuru now turned his attention to Hinata, who for some reason looked troubled. What happened, Hinata? You are still as ignorant as ever, Rimuru. First, you steal my power, and then... Before Hinata could continue, she realized that Rimuru's right eye had a glint of red in it for a moment, and she stopped. Fearing that it might be her end, she continued with whatever she wanted to say. What do you mean, steal your powers? I don't have my powers anymore since I was separated from Chloe. Rimuru was perplexed. He didn't do it, but then he remembered what Ciel did while in control. Ciel, did you have to go that far? But Master, she has? I know, Ciel, I know. But you know about Hinata Sakaguchi's behavior well enough, and even if she wants to, she can't kill me. So can you give her her powers back? And wait, let's answer her first. Hinata, I can grant you your powers and your safe body back. But first, what do you want to do? You could either live in Chloe's body like in previous loops, or live with your own. If you choose the second option, your relationships with others will change, like with Luminous, the Holy Knights, and so on. What do you want to do? Hinata, hearing this, had no trouble deciding. I want to stay in my own body. It is better than being trapped in someone else's body. And besides, I don't want to be trapped in Chloe's body when she hugs you and all. I still don't like you. Hinata said the last part with a blush on her face. Sensei, Hinata is at Sunder, you know? She was always nagging about you, but was worried when I told her about my time loops and how you died, Chloe said, looking mockingly at Hinata. I don't like him. Stop telling lies. Hinata yelled in embarrassment and threw a cold glare at Chloe. Chloe just replied by sticking out her tongue, which angered Hinata even more. Before they could continue, Rimuru intervened. Come on now, you two. Hinata, then I shall grant you your powers again. It will maybe feel weird, but bear with it. He transported her into his imaginary space, where Ciel would handle the necessary procedure. After it was finished, Hinata came back with her powers regained, and even stronger than before. Thank you, I guess, she said, but did not look directly into his eyes. No problem. I can't leave humanity's defender defenseless and powerless, right? Hinata nodded. Chloe had a smug look on her face for some reason. So, will you return to Luminous? Yes, I guess. We have been out for some time, and she will freak out if we don't return soon. Great, now that I have a body, I can endure her obsession even on my own, Hinata added with a pained expression. I can put you back in Chloe if you want to, Rimuru replied jokingly, but stopped as he realized Hinata's serious expression. Sensei, can I tell Luminous about you? I told her about you from the future, but now that you are here. Oh, no problem. I think she already heard about me. You know, they announced my name as the new Demon Lord and all. Just don't tell her I am from the future. You could maybe tell her that an anomaly happened, and I reincarnated here this time. Sensei, you are terrible at making up lies. But I don't think she would care at all. I mean, it is Luminous we are talking about. All she cares about are her roses and Chloe, Hinata indifferently added. All right then, I'll leave it to you. I'll come by soon to visit you. Maybe I'll even invite Luminous to join the Demon Lords while I am there. Do you think that's a good idea? Before Hinata could finish, Chloe butted in. Yes, Sensei. I'll be waiting for you. All right then, let me send you back to where? Rimuru started, pausing because he didn't know if they wanted to go somewhere else first or directly to Luminous Place. To Luminous Place if possible, Sensei. All right, I hear you. Wait. What is it, Rimuru? Hinata looked embarrassed and was facing the ground. She hesitantly opened her mouth to make her request. Do you have some food from your original timeline you could give us? I miss it already. Rimuru, who was expecting far worse, let out a laugh before nodding. He pulled out some food from his imaginary space and handed it over to Hinata. Here you go. Thank you, I guess. So then, I'll see you both soon. Take care. Take care, Sensei. And with that, Rimuru teleported both of them to Luminous Castle and let out a sigh. Now I have to think about what to tell the others. After the nerve-wracking conversation, or rather confrontation, with Chloe and Hinata, Rimuru slumped back into his chair. This was more stressful than he thought it would be. To top that off, the others were also expecting an explanation. This was too much stress for Rimuru, but also, in a sense, exciting. This whole situation, despite being nerve-wracking and stressful, was the whole reason he traveled back in time. No paperwork, but instead, pure action. Such a situation couldn't objectively speaking be considered an event fully packed with action, but to Rimuru, who knew how intense Velzard and Velgrin could be, it was exciting and a bit scary. But that only added to the excitement. Of course, after he mentally prepared himself, he rose from his chair and made his way upstairs. Seems like Milim has awoken. I can sense her on the balcony with the others. When he arrived at the scene, he was tackled by a small dragon as soon as he was spotted. This dragon was, of course, Milim's baby dragon, Gaia. He jumped on Rimuru and cuddled with him. Rimuru, surprised by this unexpected affection, just let it be and patted the dragon's head. Seems like you miss me. Kiyu, Kiyu. Yes, I missed you too. You did well protecting Milim while she was asleep. Good job, Gaia. The baby dragon let out a soft sound. No need to be modest here, little one. You did well, Gaia. I know, but you're going to grow strong enough to protect Milim for sure. Don't let these events affect you that much. I'm sure Milim could train you when she gets the hang of her powers, and I also could assist you if you want to. To that, the baby dragon looked at Rimuru with sparkles in his eyes, letting out a cheerful chirp. All right, it's settled then. While Rimuru was, in a way, conversing with the baby dragon, everyone present was baffled, except Milim. For some reason, they looked at Rimuru suspiciously with demanding eyes. Rimuru, realizing this, was curious as to why they were shocked this time, before realizing what he had just done. Oh. After so many years hanging out with Milim and Gaia, I got the hang of it and could understand Gaia to some level. But this shouldn't be possible for someone who just met him 3 days ago. How could I forget that? In the original timeline, Gaia, after some years, developed his true dragon core with the help of Rimuru. As he was still a baby, he only let out his signature sounds, which Rimuru initially sorted out as baby noises. But after he witnessed how Milim conversed with Gaia casually, he couldn't help but ask how she could understand him. The answer delivered by her left Rimuru baffled again. The reason was simply Milim. Rimuru didn't even question it. After all, he had witnessed everything from Milim eyes to even Milim hair. It was easier to accept it than to try to understand it. After many years of witnessing the conversations between Milim and Gaia, he could also converse with him. But unlike with Milim, it was more like a mother understanding the noises her baby made, he guessed, and it was mostly correct. Back to the present time, nobody knew, or better yet, should know, about all of this. That's why they had questioning looks on their faces. Oh, Rimuru, don't tell me you understand that dragon. As Rimuru suspected, Guy was the first to speak up, and this time he demanded answers. How can I get out of this? I can't say that I kind of got used to it. Neither can I use the excuse that I'm kind of a true dragon myself. What to do, what to do, what to do? While Rimuru was trying to find an excuse, suddenly an idea popped up in his mind. He looked over at Milim, who was watching him curiously, and decided to answer. It's because of my Rimuru eye. It helps me to understand nearly every monster and the like. He was met with silence. They looked dumbfounded and astounded at the same time. Master, I know what you think, Ciel chimed in. But think about it, Ciel. Whenever Milim did something crazy, she just gave her eyes and limbs names, and everyone kind of accepted it. I think I should also make use of it, don't you think? Ciel was only half convinced by this explanation but accepted it either way. It was much better than the usual excuses he came up with. The one to break the silence was, surprisingly, Milim. She jumped up and stared at Rimuru with sparkles in her eyes. She ran up to him and started to excitedly jump up and down in front of him. Rimuru, really? You have a Rimuru eye too. She was excited to meet someone who had the same unique traits as her. Rimuru, knowing this, patted her head and replied with a smile, Oh, really? I didn't know there was someone else with this kind of ability. But do you also have a Rimuru eye? Rimuru asked with a smug expression on his face. You have a Rimuru eye? Not really, I have a Milim eye too, she answered, clearly excited that he also shared this specialty. Wow, we're much alike, I see. What do you mean? Do you want to become my bestie, Milim? Rimuru asked, while tilting his head curiously. Bestie? What is a bestie? Milim asked, tilting her head. Bestie is like friends, but the best of friends, you know? The best of all friends. Milim comprehended his words for a bit, but then she punched the air above her head excitedly before shouting, Rimuru and I are besties from now on. Gaia, look! The baby dragon looked sad to be left out, but after realizing this, Milim corrected her statement in a panicked voice, from today onward, Rimuru, my friend, and Gaia are all besties. The baby dragon joined her joy and also excitedly flew above their heads. Say, Milim, isn't it weird that your friend has no name? Don't you want to name him? Milim looked down at the floor after hearing this. Guy said it's dangerous. She looked sad about it. Rimuru thought about it for a while. This Milim was still not used to her power, it would indeed be dangerous for her. Maybe I should offer to name him. Say, Milim, if you want to, I can name him for you. She looked into his eyes, concerned. No, no, no. I don't want my bestie to get hurt. It's dangerous. Oh, don't worry about it. I'm good at naming, you know. I'll be careful. What do you say? She looked troubled, not wanting her newfound bestie to get hurt because of her wish. But hearing his reasoning, she kind of felt relieved and decided to trust him. If you want to, do you have a name in mind? A name? I don't know, how about Gaia? Rimuru suggested the name she had come up with by herself last time. He didn't want to take credit for it, but he couldn't wait thousands of years before she came up with it either. Milim's concerns were swept away like they weren't even there in the first place. After hearing this, she again had sparkles in her eyes, just like when she had tasted honey for the first time. Gaia. That's so cool. Rimuru smiled at her reply. Despite her childish and reckless behavior, he liked Milim as a friend. At first, he had called her bestie because he feared she would go on a rampage otherwise, but after so many years spent together, they truly became besties and spent a lot of time together. Shuna even said she was the one who affected Rimuru and was responsible for him turning into the prankster he was. From today onward, your name shall be Gaia, Rimuru said in a friendly tone. Gaia started to glow and even grew by a fair bit before landing in Milim's arms and falling asleep. Seems like he needs some sleep after getting a name. Rimuru, thank you, she said with tears in her eyes. After going through so much, she had found a bestie. While Rimuru patted her head again to console her, the others were still shocked at the display in front of them. It just gets crazier the more we see your doings, Rimuru, were the only words Guy could mutter. After Milim had calmed down, they also took a seat. Gaia was resting on Milim's lap while letting out soft snores from time to time. For some reason, Velgrint was staring daggers into Rimuru. Milim, of course, didn't realize that because she was too busy patting the sleeping Gaia's head. Rimuru silently sipped on his tea and waited for someone to speak up. The silence was broken when Guy finally decided to ask, Rimuru, what was that? What was what, Guy? Rimuru asked, despite knowing exactly what Guy was referring to. Don't play dumb. The outburst from before. Even we couldn't move. What happened in that room? It was just a misunderstanding, but we sorted everything out and it's all right now. No need to worry, Rimuru assured them. But none of them looked assured at all. So he nearly destroyed the palace because of a misunderstanding, was what they all thought. Rimuru read the mood correctly and tried to assure them again. I know what you all are thinking, but be assured it won't happen again. She's my student, you know? I would never have harmed her. And besides, I've started to find a liking to you all, so I would never put you in harm's way either. So please, believe me. The Demon Lord has a hero as his apprentice. Guy asked, interested. Oh, so you noticed? Yes, she is important to me and my only student as of now. I like being a teacher, you know, Rimuru responded with a smug expression on his face. Interesting. As long as she doesn't cause me trouble, I'm fine with it. There's another thing I have to ask. What do you plan on doing, Rimuru? Hearing this, Rimuru went silent for a moment. It was too early to build Tempest, and he didn't want to deal with an unsealed Veldora just yet. He was sure that the current Veldora would just try to fight him. He had promised Chloe to visit her and wanted to see what Luminous destroyed castle looked like. Furthermore, he was also curious about the Cardinal World and how it was as of now. Maybe, is it okay for you if I stay here? I will travel from time to time, but I don't want my own territory for now. I will, of course, teach your maids new recipes as compensation. This time, it was Guy who went silent. Although it could be bothersome if Rimuru lashed out like that again, here, at least Guy could keep an eye on him. The dishes Rimuru made were also unlike anything he had eaten before. It's boring here anyway. Maybe I can even find a new sparring partner in him. After Guy sorted out his thoughts, he replied with a smile, yeah, sure, do what you want. It's gotten livelier here since you appeared. Just don't cause me any trouble. And what do you mean by travels? Thank you. And hey, I'm a pacifist, you know. I wouldn't go around destroying everything. And I will have to train my student, as I promised her. That's what I meant by travel. Maybe I can even find a new demon lord or two to join us, who knows? To this, Guy let out a small laugh. Velgrind was now pouting and looking away, while Velzard looked at her rather pitifully. Ciel, why is Velgrind acting like she does? It seems odd to me. Master, only this time I'll help you with that. Oh, finally. So what is it? Master, since we arrived here, why were you so gentle and friendly with everyone? What kind of question is that? Because I know them. Exactly, that's the problem. You might know them from the original timeline, but that's not the case for them. To them, your friendly advances came over as flirting, and some women have already fallen for you. What? Don't tell me Velgrind. That seems to be the case. She is not the only one. In your denseness, you didn't realize it, but as I said, there are other women as well. Hey, that's not nice. But to think Velgrind, what about her and Rudra? They haven't been together for too long, so it seems like she hasn't developed a romantic interest in him yet. Rimuru realized, for some reason, how displeased Ciel was about all of this. She always said she was his first wife, and he just let it be, but was she jealous? Ciel, are you jealous? Rimuru teasingly asked. HMPH. I am Master's first wife. Why should I be? But that doesn't mean that I will let anyone I don't deem worthy of Master get near him. Boy, are you my partner or my overprotective guardian? And deem worthy? You have never deemed someone worthy, ever. There might be one or two persons who could be. Anyway, now is not the time to talk about this, Master. Be careful not to accidentally seduce everyone around you, or it might get troublesome. All right, I'll keep that in mind. With that, the conversation between Rimuru and Ciel ended, and Rimuru turned his attention to the outside world again. Rimuru, can I also come with you? Milim asked with puppy eyes. I could teach Chloe how to behave early on, and she could be a good training partner for her, maybe. I don't want her to be lonely anyway, so why not? You sure, Milim? Why not? Milim looked happy and continued to happily pat Gaia's head again. Velgrind's pout grew even larger. I felt Michael and Rudra when he was here. As she returns, she'll be controlled after some time. Maybe she wants to stay here too, Rimuru thought. Velgrind-san, do you want to accompany me too, or do you have to return to the Empire? Velgrind's eyes lit up for a moment, but she instantly regained her composure and put on an indifferent expression. What makes you believe I would want to travel with you? All right then, I apologize for my impudence. Then I'll travel with Milim, Gaia, and Rain. Velgrind, hearing this, panicked before half shouting, wait! When did I say I don't want to? I just asked a question. But if you insist that much, I might tag along. Ciel, are we sure that this is Velgrind and not Veldora in disguise? That is Velgrind for sure. Veldora is currently sparring with de Gruel. Oh, really? We will have to visit de Gruel soon too. Good that you mentioned it. I would be happy to have you along, Velgrin-san, Rimuru replied with a gentle smile. Velgrin blushed a little but quickly lowered her head to hide it. Guy, meanwhile, was dumbfounded and had a look of disbelief on his face. Did Rimuru just get Velgrin on his side? She looks rather charmed by him. Poor Rudra, your strongest pawn is gone. Velzad was also surprised. She couldn't convince Velgrin to leave Rudra's side, but this Rimuru just did it in a matter of a few days. Ramiris was rather indifferent about it and happily chatted with Rain about the cookies she made, and Milim was happy because she would travel with her bestie and her aunt. Before I forget, Rimuru, you talk like you knew some people to join us. Who do you have in mind? Guy asked. I don't know if they will join, but they're strong enough to join. One would be de Gruel, and the other one would be Luminous Valentine. The giant and the vampire queen. Guy muttered, lost in his thoughts. Rimuru didn't mention Dino because he would eventually join them soon by himself, and since he was kind of a spy, Rimuru didn't want to bring a spy along personally. Yes, they could fit, but they don't get along pretty well from what I've heard. It would be difficult to convince both of them, Guy said. Oh, don't worry about that. I think that's the exact reason why they would join in the first place, you know? If one joins, the other will follow. If you say so, then I'll leave it to you to convince them. Although Rimuru knew that Guy was pushing the chore onto him, he now had a reason to visit both of them. With that, his first destination was set. Milim, Velgrin-san, and Rain. We will set off in a few days, if it's okay with all of you. They all nodded happily, and Rimuru, too, was excited. Let's meet my old